Kevin. On today's Which Word of the Day, I thought of this all by myself without you telling me which word to pick. It's, well, I guess the full term is Voto Incantado. And this is, like, based on a pink dolphin. Who would have thought a pink dolphin who is in, like, the Amazon rivers? And the South Americans who live around the Amazon have kind of built up this lore that these pink dolphins, probably because they're pink, they're like skin looking, that they can like shift into humans, usually at night. And usually they will appear as like attractive young men wearing all white. And it's said that they're very like, actually now that I think about it, are you an Encantado? Because it said that they're very sexual and they like to sing.
They like music and they like parties. I not so subtly suggested this to you.
But one part of the myth that I thought was kind of cute and kind of funny is like, I came across, do you know why they wear hats, Kevin?
Why do they wear hats?
Because apparently they can't make their blowhole disappear, so the blowhole is on their head, so they wear hats.
Don't look at my hole.
Don't look at my hole. My hole is out. The men are said to want to procreate with, it says girls or young women, so that's kind of, ugh. But I guess they are also very much like known to steal people. Like if it's their child, they'll steal them to come live with them. If it's somebody they're attracted to, same thing. And also there's women Encantados. So they're more about like, this is crazy to me. This is the circle of life personified. So apparently the women are said if they fall in love with a man who's married, they'll go and like mess with them, sleep with them. But then the 7th time they show up, they'll turn the man into a baby and put the baby in the wife's womb, so that way they're reborn as a new person. I'm like, that's so weird.
Yeah. There's a reason why we're talking about this word, which we'll find out later in this issue.
I know what it is.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published material in the Charmed universe and decide how it fits into the grand narrative of the TV series.
All right. Well, welcome to Words of the Witches, episode 89.
Oh.
And I'm Kevin, your resident Charmed resource.
And I'm Sean, and I just love comic books.
Yay! We're talking about a comic book today. How coincidental.
And just to be clear, it's a comic book and not a TV or a movie.
Yes, so we are okay to continue on this. We support all of the SAG-AFTRA strike stuff, you know. We had a poll last week. Do you remember what it was?
Oh, shit. The poll was... No, I don't remember.
About which minor romance is the worst. The worst.
Yeah.
And the options were Prue and Justin, Piper and Greg, Phoebe and Miles, or Paige and Nate.
I said Phoebe Miles. The dancing, Kevin.
Dancing after death. Not cool, Phoebe, not cool. This was our highest participated poll yet.
Wow.
On Instagram. So many votes. So let's go break it down. I did post this on Twitter too, but we only got 2 like write-ins, so it wasn't quite the same. But our least worst, the one that people liked the best, I guess, is Prue and Justin, my favorite one, at 30 votes. Only 13% picked that one as their worst.
Wow.
Then we had Piper and Greg at 57 votes, 24%. So they like them a little bit more than these other two. Then came Paige and Nate at 66 votes, 27%. And Phoebe and Miles was the winner of the most hated minor romance at 85 votes, 36%.
That is a ton of votes.
I know. Ton of people. So thank you everybody who participated in that. I did get this. I had somebody write into me. He's like, to be honest, it's Drake. I was like, excuse me.
Oh.
Did you misunderstand the question? It's not your favoriteest one. It's your least favorite one. He's like, no, I just didn't like Drake. I was like, okay, them fighting words, but it's fine, whatever. I'm not gonna name names to say who it is, but it was a huge hurt to my heart there. So, so there. Okay. Should we get into this comic book?
Let's get into this comic book.
Ooh, silence! Yeah. This is season 10, issue 14, The Four Sisters, part 1. And it was published December 2nd, 2015, written by Pat Shand, artwork by Lisa Feliz, colors by Valentina Cuomo, letters by Christy Sawyer, edited by Pat Shand, and cover art by David Seidman. So all of our usual people. And this cover you described has beautiful, big old faces of Phoebe, Paige, and Piper with these lightning bolts, and this Prue character on the bottom.
Oh,
Do you enjoy this cover?
I do. It's very nice. It's simple yet effective.
And the likenesses are really well done.
Yeah.
It's very dramatic. You know, this picture of Prue is actually drawn based off another actress.
Really?
Natalie Dormer.
I love Natalie Dormer. I can see it.
Can you see it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
She was actually my vote for Captain Marvel. I thought she would have made a very amazing Captain Marvel.
I agree. I agree to that. I'm choking
You have to
today.
get choked
I'm
up
sorry.
about it.
I know. Oh, so let me drink some water. Oh,
Here, have some coffee.
in your Satan cup. Your cutesy fluffy Satan cup. So get us started, Sean.
All right. So we start in on, it looks like this like daddy court justice angel guy is like drawing pictures on a scroll.
Yeah, with his feather quill.
Yeah, exactly.
He just
Very
plucked it from his
fancy.
wing. He just plucked
Yeah.
it.
I wish we got a shot of that, him just plucking a feather.
Yep.
And suddenly the door booms open and in walks Paige, Phoebe, and Piper. And Piper's like, I know what you're thinking. We could have orbed inside the room. True. We figured the dramatic entrance would instill the proper sense of urgency. And then Phoebe says, you took my husband away from me, threatened his life. And Pod says, we're taking him back. And then Paige says, hey, so you didn't mention the part where he's a giant? And he stands up and he's like, I respect your dedication to love. Love is in red.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
I imagine it said differently, so that's how I'm going to say it. Love.
It's like, that's how we have to say the word every time we're up here, no matter who says it.
Love.
It's a rule.
All of you, for your sisters and for Phoebe, yours for Coop. Come. And then Piper's like, where are you taking us? And then Phoebe says, are we going to see him? And Sexy Daddy Angel Man says, you're going to see the scoop of the current situation. Oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
And then Piper goes, oh. And Peach says, this is a bad time?
Yeah, Grand High Cupid over here. This is going to be our power play moment as well.
Oh.
Power play.
Okay.
I know, right away. We have not featured this power yet, so I figured it's about time. We are talking about Piper's molecular combustion power. We covered immobilization, we covered acceleration, but now we got combustion. Also known as blasting, blowing up, or exploding. So molecular combustion is the power to make molecules speed up to the point that objects or beings explode. Users can also blow up inanimate objects such as doors, boom, like this door here, stones, and cars, though this may sometimes cause a lasting fire as a byproduct. Users cannot actually create fire like those with pyrokinesis. The explosive effects of their power is based off that like blast plus flammable material that caused the fire.
So their favorite song is We Didn't Start the Fire, because they didn't.
Right, exactly. And remember we talked about molecular acceleration, her new power, where she can literally start people on fire and melt things. So what's the difference? I think molecular acceleration is more controlled and it's less damaging. So it's a less dramatic, a very more subtle way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Users can also deviate powers like energy balls and fireballs back at demons by blasting them mid-air and sending them back in the direction they came from. So that's pretty cool. Some beings are completely immune or resistant to the power. Some people just don't explode, or they just like get thrown backwards instead of like being completely pulverized into nothingness. But as Pepper's power got stronger, this power was also able to vanquish previously thought immune demons. So people that were immune or resistant were not so much after she got stronger with it. So it's really just about who is stronger. There's a potion to replicate this power in the Book of Shadows. So the next page, it's a double spread.
Oh.
So Grand High Giant Cupid Man takes them into this room. He's like, "Come hither, charmed ones. We've been waiting for you. You deserve to know. In fact, your arrival couldn't be any more opportune. It's time we had a conversation, charmed ones." And we see this big old meeting room with lots of people. This is the new tribunal. Remember the new tribunal? What happens to them? Oh,
Yes, somebody spoiled it.
Spoiler. But this is them. We got Death right here. Simon Templeman's back in the front, so he did not die.
Oh.
So that's him sitting there right in front of the snake.
I didn't realize that was him.
Mm-hmm. Then we got this giant snake. I guess he's an alien or a biblical representation. I don't know. Random suit people. We got the bitch ass elders and Iota's there. We got Space Lady. I love her. She's pretty cool looking.
She's cool.
Yeah. And we got like a Reaper. So not Death, but a Reaper. I'm very curious about this. Maybe it's a smoker demon. I don't know, but that would be weird. Then we have like random like peasants. Like they must be the slaves of the avatars or something over here, because we got the avatars as well. And then our floaty heads. There are 4 different floaty heads than before. It looks like. Unless we got Adair, maybe Adair and Aramis might be the same. Or maybe it's the 4. Maybe it's the same ones.
So cut to like the saddest concert ever. There's literally 6 people listening to this band.
This is like the start. This is like a very quiet, like very hipster kind of pub,
Yeah. So it looks pretty cool though. It looks like somewhere I would go, and we see it's apparently not that loud because well, I guess it is, because Ben is saying, "Can barely hear you over this noise," and Kira's like, "Didn't you die when you were young? Explain to me how you're such a grandpa." So then he's like, "So these encantos," and she's like, "Encantadas, whatever. They can take us back." And Kira says, "They'll take us where you want to go, all right. But you owe me a big one, buddy boy. I'm cashing in on a huge favor here." And Ben's like, "Why are you helping me anyway?" And she's like, "You asked." And he's like, "You can do whatever you want now, but here you are tangled up in all this crap. Why?" And she says, but they're interrupted by a man with glowy eyes, and he sings. In my mind, he sings like the little troll, the one that's like auto-tuned.
What little troll? From the Troll movie? Oh yeah. like a pop star, like NSYNC or whatever.
Yeah. They are ready for you. And then Kira says, "Thank you."
When Kira was talking to Ben about being a grandpa, I resented that a little bit. Because I'm not that old, and I feel like a grandpa sometimes when things are loud. And to be fair, Kira, you gotta give him a break, because he died in like 1888. So this is all way different.
Plus, he's not even a grandpa. Cole never had kids.
Yeah. And there's something to notice that's very important here, too, because when he asks her why she's helping him, she kind of pauses a little bit. She's like, she's a little flustered.
Oh.
So what do you think that means?
I don't know. Why would she be helping him? She's got to get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, off the top of my head, I can only think if she's like trying to overdo it to try to make it seem like she's good or prove that she's good. But I feel like it's going to be more than that.
Well, I think because she was like checking him out last issue, I think she kind of has a crush on him.
Oh. Ho, ho, ho.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm-mm.
Of course, I also know what happens later. So, but yeah,
I'm so glad you get the singing page. I'm not a singer, as anybody listening can tell.
I wish we knew what the melodies were. So the next page we have the Encantadas because they're female-y ones. It's like, is female here? Is female here? It's like, it's female. So they're singing. They're in their band. They're like little fairies too. They have wings, so they're a little bit different than the traditional Encantados. They're like
Mhm.
pixies. They're like Winx Club Saga over here. And they go, "It's been too long, Kira. You're all new. Your heart it sings." And then like, I don't know. She's like, "Hey, girl." She's like, "Your soul fits you well." And you totally lost weight. Did you end up going to that hot yoga class I was talking about? The one that I quit because it was boring? It's like, it's to die for. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, oh, and speaking of dying, speaking of souls, yours certainly doesn't belong there. Who did this to you? He's like, I don't. And this is Benjamin. He's like, what do you mean? They sing too much.
Love it.
He's like, it takes great power to rebuild a body, greater power yet to bind it to a soul. Power that could have been easily put that soul where it belongs. And yet the Father walks in the Son's shadow.
Yay!
Weird.
So this is exciting to me because this is exactly what we talked about. Like, she could have easily rebuilt
Mhm.
Ben's body, but she didn't.
So it actually comes up. Yeah.
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 Speaking of Prue, on the next page, oh damn it, they're singing. Why would she cause you pain she could have quelled? We see Prue is at this stone slab, and she's like, "Oh, rhyme time! It's rhyme time, girls. It's rhyme time."
Should we try a spell?
Why not? Let's try a spell.
In the wind, I send this rhyme. Bring death before me, before my time.
You've really got to lay off the rhyming, Prue. Wonderful. Witty, but wordy.
I did the rhyme. I will do the time. Good night.
She says, "Power of the witches rise, course unseen across the skies. Come to us who call you near. Come to us and settle here." And
That
then
is the most used spell in the history of Charmed. Do you remember? We talked about this on Hanging with the Hellos.
Mhm.
It's used all the time. And multiple spells are the same words, even though they're not the same spell.
Oh.
But this one is supposed to be the blood to blood one because she continues.
Okay,
Go ahead.
yeah. She says, "Blood to blood, I summon thee. Blood to blood, return to me." And as she's doing this, there's blue wispies appearing on the stone slab. Help me understand this blood. Is she like pulling blood out of the air? Where's this coming from?
It's coming out of her hand, but she's like bleeding a river. Like,
Yeah.
if you took this much blood out of you, you'd be like dead. You'd be passed out. You'd be like on the floor. So
Yeah, that's
but
crazy.
you can see it's like coming out of her hand.
Okay, I thought so, but that just didn't make sense since it's so much blood.
Yeah, like, oh my god.
And then we see like this blue figure starts to appear, and Prue says, "I know this must be a shock. You and I never got to know one another, but you sure made an impression on my sisters. You hurt them, bitch, and they spared you. That was very thoughtful of them, wasn't it, bitch? Now don't be scared, bitch. I know you did what you did because you were suffering, bitch. I know where you're coming from. I've hurt people to get what I want. I didn't mean to, but I did, bitch. You and I are like in that way." I wonder who this could be, Kevin.
Yeah. Let's take a look. The next page, we see that the person that she summoned is shackled to the floor of this circle. And then she says, "Aren't we, Nina?"
Ah!
Nina's back, which you knew she was coming back, but you didn't know when. This is when.
This is when.
I love too. We have like crazy symbols. We got the triple crescent over here. We got the triple goddess symbol. We got triquetras. We got some other like watery symbols. So
I kind of love and hate this picture because I love it because it's Nina and it's well drawn, but Nina wouldn't wear this. Nina was all about her like sexy businesswoman outfit, and this is so like the opposite of what she was wearing.
well, do you remember when she was sent back to her higher realm? That's what she was wearing at the end when she was sent back.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah. So it's
That's
not her
part of her
typical garb.
punishment.
Yeah, but she wore the ugly dress when she was sent back to her whatever, and she's only supposed to be like with her love like what 3 months of the year or something. No, half the
Yeah,
year,
half
6
the
months
year.
of the year.
Wow,
So,
okay. Good attention to detail.
mm-hmm.
And it's funny because some of these symbols I used in my book, Witch's Brew, A Dream of Waking, now on Amazon. Back in the heavens. So we see Iota being like, hello again, Piper. And then Piper's like, how's that research coming? And she's like, as you can see, the elders are rather preoccupied at the moment. And Piper's like, what is this? And then the
Angel of Death.
Angel of Death says, this is the new tribunal, charmed ones. And the snake says, the witches needn't know our aims.
It's like they were supposed to be nothing's in your ears.
Ew. And then the spacey thing is like, there's no reason to hide this from those who wish to speak for Wicca. And then Podge is like, we're speaking for someone now? I don't know how many of us know this, but we kind of came here to threaten the Cupids. And Phoebe's like, they've imprisoned my husband. After all he's done for the fight, they threaten to kill him if he doesn't obey. And Sexy Rando Guy, is this somebody we know, or is this Sexo Randy Guy?
Oh
No.
we know this person.
We do?
He's only the sexiest avatar we've ever had on the show, Gamma.
Oh, I remember
our
Gamma.
He was our favoritist avatar. So he's in the group of avatars here, and there's also this girl. This looks like the one from Biocan Leos when she summoned an avatar, and there's that stoic lady with the hair. It looks like she's here too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wasn't Gamma more like Asian-y?
Yeah, he's Asian. It's hard to kind of tell in the drawing sometimes, but yeah, he's an Asian guy.
Okay. But Gamma,
Ian.
hi.
Yeah.
So this guy I recognize is like ever short-sighted. The big picture is splayed out before you, and you close your eyes. You fight battles on the eve of a war. And Piper's like, why have you all gathered? And Iota's like, oh, didn't you read the memo? Phoebe knows. So I'm trying to remember. There was a character introduced in Secret Wars a few years ago that looked just like this, but this comic would have predated the Marvel character. But I do love this whole starry thing. But she's got a baby coming out of her boobies also.
Do you know what she's showing here?
What? Oh,
She's showing PJ, the Wisp, PJ, when she was talking about the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
So she's showing Phoebe, like, yeah, this is that Wispy that you remember. Told you all about it. Ooh. But yeah, the baby.
So yeah, she's saying they're coming, the root of all fear, of all evil. The old one's the magic. It's blackening at the roots. Everyone feels it. And Piper's like, we already vanquished the old ones. And Gamma's like, ha 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 ha, stupid bitch. Apologies. I don't mean to laugh at your expense. We're in this together, I suppose. The truth is, there is no vanquishing the old ones.
Oh my goodness. I think this Gamma is based off a picture from the show, or episode from the show.
It's funny, she's so familiar to me, though. Reminds me of this old stray that used to hang outside my loft.
Familiars. That's what I'm looking for.
Have we met before? You look familiar.
It looks like when he was on top of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay.
Maybe you look familiar with it.
Yeah.
So now we see Space Lady, Cosmos Lady. She's so cool looking though. Like her whole skin is like stars. Oh, I love it. And she's like, "Look at my boobies. Look at my stomach." and then we see in her or on her, I guess. Montgomery Knox. Do you remember him from issues ago when he got killed and then the old ones like got him out of the ground? Ooh.
Yeah, he got Rob zombified.
Yeah. And she says, one will die and one will rise, which were Prue's tattoos. Oh.
Mhm.
And Piper continues, she's like, that's Knox, is he? And then some suit guy, whoever he is, he's like, he's dead, but his body carries the seeds of the old ones, acting as an incubator. He may be an unwilling host, but he's a host nonetheless. We've been unable to find him. And the longer those seeds are within his body, we can't hope to prevent the rise of the old ones.
I'm pretty
Oh.
sure that's Agent Mulder.
Oh, okay. And then Phoebe goes, Hermes! And then giant Cupid man, Grand High Cupid, says, what did you just say? And
Well, if she said it like you did, I don't blame him for asking.
yeah, Hermes. Phoebe says, vanquished demons have been returning at will. Prue looked into it and she said that the wasteland is sentient and that it's possibly an old one. So Prue must have met with them at some point and told them everything. Or maybe just
yeah.
Phoebe. Maybe just told Phoebe because no one else seems to know about it.
Well, it does seem like she's kind of telling Piper right here, too.
Right, so I think Phoebe's the only one that knows, so Prue must have just told her somehow, somewhere
Yeah.
between the issues. Its name is Hermes, and is possessing someone on Earth, maybe to find Knox.
And then it continues, we have to find Hermes. So we see Kareem is laying in bed, and he likes skateboarding, apparently. And he says, hey, so leaving another message. I'd say I'm worried, but that's kind of obvious. This is like the 20th message. No one knows where you are. Please, if you get this, I don't care what time it is. I don't care what happened. Just call me, please. And it looks like he's trying to get a hold of Tyler, who's gone missing.
Hmm.
And then we cut to looks like Leo is at Tyler's parents' house. And he's saying, no, Paige said he missed the last lesson. And the mom says he's been gone for 2 whole days. He's never done this before. It's not like him. It's weird how much Tyler's parents' house looks like the manor.
Well, I think it is the manor. They're coming to
Oh.
the manor to talk to Leo looking for Tyler.
Oh, I see. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
The way it's shown, I thought Leo was like at their front door talking to
Oh.
them. But I see what you mean. They're like
Yeah.
in the entry hall. Okay.
Yeah.
So then it says, we're worried something happened to our boy. And then we see Tyler, wherever he's at, he's hearing a voice that says, you remember, yes, this time you remember.
And then the next page, we see Tyler sitting in the middle of a room on the wall. And he's like, I didn't. And he's like, or did you? Did we? Did I? And in front of him are like bodies.
Yeah, that's dark.
I don't know if they're dead or they're just old, but they got like weird like faces on them too, like very pale, old looking faces on them. And then we see a flash of Javna. So I'm guessing this is what happened. He turned into Javna and sucked these people out, or these. I don't know.
No.
He sucked their youth, I guess. So
Yeah.
they could just be sleeping or something, but they look dead to me. Tempted to use this as a "you look familiar" moment because it looks very much like when he did that in "I've Got You Under My Skin."
Have we met before? You look familiar.
Very reminiscent of 102. So it's like, is the hand but a weapon, or is the hand an extension of who you are? Are you you? Tyler's like, back up. I don't know who you are. He's like, I'm going to Paige. She'll figure this out. He's like, are you talking to yourself? That's a bad sign. So, yeah, like, who is this voice coming from? Is it like, is he talking to himself? Is he talking to his brain? Is he saying both of these things out loud? Tricky. And then he's like, are you a demon? And then the voice says, where do I begin? At your ending or somewhere in the middle? What did you do? Where am I? This isn't. So now you see Tyler like walking through very much like empty. He's walking into a portal, and then once he's inside the portal, it's like a very swirly wormhole looking thing. And the voice says, Paige wouldn't be very helpful now. You feel the pull inside, yes? Strings, dragging you along. Who's coming? Is it Javna back for more? No. Oh, he's. Because it's in red, so it changed.
Yeah.
These random red words in this comic. So he's about to join us, and he has no interest in Paige, but you can help bring him to who he wants to see. And then Tyler starts to transform again into something. He's like, no, not again.
On a lighter note, we go over to Ben and Kira are on the ground. They have a fun glowy purple hand print on both of their exposed stomachs. And one of the Encantadors says, "And we begin!"
Encantada.
Encantada. And then suddenly, a Fwoom appears behind them, Tyler's portal. And Kira's like, whoa, I do not remember this. And then we hear, now. We both know that's not true. And who is it? Does anybody have a craving for chicken? Because it's Zanku!
Woo, our Zanky is back, y'all! And this close-up on Kira's eyes is really beautiful, too. I love that.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
So the next page, we see the portal with Zanku's sexy face coming out of it. And Kira's like, run! And then he laughs. And then the Encantadors go, disappear. And then Zanku is doing his particle swarm. And much like the contents in Lisa's drawer, it's going bzzz. And Benjamin's like, who the hell is that? And Kira's like, just go. And he's like, you're not fooling anyone, Kira. You belong in the dark. And then they get crushed into they fall into a hole in the ground, or they get pushed into it. It looks like the particle storm is pushing them down into it, which is weird though, because you think they would be killed from that.
Yeah, I feel like it made the hole in the ground, but you're right. That seems like it would be enough to squish them.
Yeah, burning pieces of particles. So if they touch you, they torture you until you die. So a little loose there. I don't know what's happening. But then we hear the voice here again. It's like, yes, my child, freedom feels good, doesn't it? And then, ooh, I smell children, but not children. I smell a naughty little white witch.
Oh. And he ends with a naughty little witch who's playing God. Ooh. But we are up, and the three sisters are walking down a beautiful path. And Podge is like, so that was 57 varieties of disturbing. And Phoebe says that was their plan, wasn't it? They're all in this together. This wouldn't be the first time that they took something away from us, so the Charmed Ones would be their damn weapon. And Piper's like, Phoebe. But suddenly she sees Cherub, and she's like, oh, for crying out loud. And the Cherub's like, shoo, don't draw attention. And then Paige's butt says, what are you doing? And the Cherub says, just down here doing my job, fluffing the clouds, certainly not giving valuable information to the Charmed Ones against the Cupids. Well, no, never. And then it keeps fluffing clouds, and it goes, I definitely would never, ever tell you that no one here would ever hurt Coop. I also want to add that the entire reason for his imprisonment is that they wish to keep him safe and feel that he's in danger of attempting yet another self-sacrificial gesture. I also want to, in a million years, gravely suggest that not only the Cupids, but basically everyone in that room believes that the Earth will fall to the old ones, which would explain their current initiative of pulling their most valued soldiers back into their own realms, which they are currently fortifying in case of an attack. Woo! Oh, that was a lot.
Yep.
And then the Cupid finishes, what? Are you going to watch me fluff clouds all day long? What are you, a fucking pervert? Move it along. Good luck.
I love that. Thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome. I can see your nipple.
Yes.
Woo! Got
Ooh.
milk.
Moo. So it just means that the stupid court of love here is all stupid liars too.
Yeah. Who can
It's
you
like,
trust?
yeah, it's like we're not really gonna take away your powers. We're just gonna say that so that you get stuck up here and then you're safe, so that when we need you, because you're such a good worker, you can be safe and sound, and we can use you later. I'm like, wow, wow,
Enter politics.
uh-huh. So I don't trust those cupids either. What is up with
Nope.
these good beings here doing the shadiest stuff? I don't think that they're not quite as bad as the elders. I don't think they can get as bad as the elders, but they're still not my favorite.
Well, and I feel like if they went to the Charmed Ones and said, "Yo, we're worried about Coop. We'd like to keep him around here," then it would have gone better than like this whole charade.
Right. So, all right. The next page, we're back with Nina and Prue, and Nina's like, "Oh, you're Prue Halliwell then? The big bad nexus of the all-made flesh." And Prue's like, "Yeah, and I brought you here because you're the only other witch who's been nearly as close to the all as I have. I'm closer. Just get it straight. I'm closer to the all. You were just had a part of the all, you know. But I'm desperate for answers, for help. And after all this time, you're still one hell of a witch." And then Nina's like, second to none. And then Prue's like, second to one, bitch, me. And she's like, "Oh, you have the ancient athame. Yeah. Why do you got that?" I love this though because Nina's like, "Yeah, you're better than me, but you're still holding that dangerous athame, that weapon. Are you scared, Prue? You're scared of little me?"
Nina's such a boss level bitch.
I know. I love these two together. They're so like. Can you imagine a whole show of these two
Yeah,
just like
that would
throwing
be
shit at each
amazing.
other the entire time?
So we continue with Prue, and she says, "I'm terrified, actually. I'm scared that in just over 24 hours, the spell keeping my magic from killing my sisters is going to stop working. So believe me when I say, if you delay me a moment longer, I will destroy everything that you are, everything that you've ever been." And oh, Nina goes, "Like patience?" Oh! And Prue looks her in the eye and goes, "Yes." So she has she's giving no fucks here. She's like, "Yeah, I did that. I killed a
Right.
bitch. I stole the body and killed a bitch."
Mm-hmm.
So then Nina goes, "I'll help you, but my sweet little girl, you must know you aren't nearly finished causing your family pain. You've all so much more to lose." And then Prue says, "You sound sad about it." And she says, "That's because I am. Come closer. The fates are listening." And Prue leans down to get closer to Nina.
I think that's super sweet. And you can tell that in this drawing of her too, there is definitely sadness in Nina's eyes.
Hmm.
So, yeah, they both have their share of troubles, but they still have hearts.
Yeah, they seem like they both have so much love that they know they both have to do stuff to try to
Keep
save
that
that
love.
love.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the things they have to do are not good, and they know
Right.
it.
Right. All right. So now we're back at the manor, and we hear. Wait, I don't get it. We see a panel of Podge, Piper, and Phoebe sitting on the couch, and I love Phoebe too. She's like, "Ooh, tell me a story."
Yeah.
And Piper's like, "You're telling me that you kidnapped Nina, who last time she was free almost ripped the heavens to tatters, threatened her with the weapon that killed Cole, and now we're supposed to trust what she said to you?" Yep, that's it. You're completely right.
Basically, yeah.
And Piper's like, "Our sister's gone crazy." Paige is just thinking there, she's like, "Can you do that? Can you transfer the all to someone else?" So I guess they've been talking, and Nina told Prue that she can get rid of the all by giving it to somebody else.
Whoa.
Game changing.
Just whoa. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a theory now, but I'll talk about it at the end. I don't want to
Okay.
ruin anything. So then Prue says, "That's just the thing. I can do anything, I think. I just didn't know I could do that. The all being inside of me is messing with the power of 3. If I can transfer it to someone we trust, obviously, you'd all be safe." And then Piper's like, "You have no power, though." And Prue says, "I've seen worse. Worse has been done to me." And Phoebe's like, does it have to be one person? And Prue's like, what do you mean? And Phoebe's like, besides the fact that I can't think of a single person who isn't in this room that I would trust with that amount of power. Well, actually, Leo. And Phoebe's like, fuck. Or Piper's like,
Piper.
fuck no, Phoebe. Fuck no. And then Phoebe's like, I'm teasing. I'm just saying, what if we can do this together? Become something more than the power of three. And Prue's like, I don't know. And Phoebe's like, it's obvious. We were never meant to be separated from you. We can do this together.
And then Paige says, well, we don't even know what this could do to us. And then Phoebe says, but we know what will happen if we don't. And then Piper's like, ooh, does anyone think those creeps could stand against the power of 4?
Oh!
Paige immediately has doubts. I mean, considering what she's been going through, obviously this is a big deal for her. Because she always feels like she's a threat to her family and to take on more power. So she's like, what if this is exactly what Henry was talking about? Look at all that's happened this year. And now you want to paint a target on us, on our families? And Phoebe's like, this is how we protect them. And then Paige is like, I want this to be the right thing. Phoebe just goes, Prue. And then she's like, yeah, all you have to do is take my hand. We can do it. They're just completely ignoring Paige's feelings here, but sure. Pisses me off.
And I think this is an interesting turn of events that, like, in light of what's going on with Henry, rather than Paige being like, yeah, give me more power. Let me, like, be this crazy being that can protect everybody. She's like, oh, no, more power is more trouble. Like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, you can see what it's doing to Prue already.
Yeah, exactly. So we see Mr. Chicken. Zanku is at the site that Nina was being held captive. So Nina apparently is either dead or free. It's unclear because the chains are empty. And he goes, heh. And Ben goes, feel like I got hit by a train. And then Kira's like, oh no, no. And Ben's like, what? And she's like, he's gone. So we see that they're still in that hole all the way back in where they first encountered Zinky. And then we see the sisters starting a spell. It's all in crazy, unreadable writing. So we don't know what they're saying, but they're all holding hands and Leo's watching. And then suddenly a portal opens, a flaming portal, a burning ring of fire, if you will. And Leo's like, Tyler?
I do want to address that gibberish spell. I was asked to perhaps ask Pat Shand what this spell means because they could not be translated. Nobody could translate it. I'm like, I think that's the point. This is no language, and I don't think it's supposed to have words. It's just would be something ancient and mysterious and enigmatic. So don't worry about what's being said.
Yeah, it is interesting because, like, whoever designed this, like, you can see repeating characters in ways that, like, writing would actually be. But you're right, I don't think it's actually translatable.
Right.
So they did a good job of making it look like it could be, but it's probably not.
All right. So then the next page, this is after Leo goes, Tyler, and then we see Zanku Chicken come around. He's like, not quite. And Leo's like, Zanku! And he comes barreling on in. He's got a fireball ready. And he's like, I was planning on paying you a visit earlier, but I found myself preoccupied. Old flame, so to speak. That Kira, I love to see her suffer. But then I felt this. A transfer of power like you wouldn't believe. And me without an invite? Oh, I'm so maleficent right now. You people think you can shift the natural order without anyone noticing? I've come for my share. Give me the power. And Leo's just like, oh, I'm going to tackle you. You are not getting in near close. And he's trying to zero in on the sisters. And then Zanku sees Leo running at him. He's like, oh, that's hilarious. Puny human. Oh. Then, I love this moment. Prue just like grabs Zanku's arm with the fireball. The whole manor starts shaking. And she's like, you want my power? All the other sisters like fall to the ground because they're so shook from the manor shaking. Like, oh, I can't stand. And she's like, Prue says, you couldn't handle it. And then Zanku's fireball like gets absorbed into him and he starts to like burn up from the inside.
Oh, dang. And then there's a womb explosion, and we see a body falling to the ground with smoke coming out of it, but it doesn't look as meaty as Zanku. And Prue and Leo look surprised because the body that falls is Tyler! And Tyler's looking all like, ooh, my hair ain't good right now. He looks surprised. And he looks up to see Prue standing over him with the flamey in her hand. And she's like, Aramis!
Yeah, some kind of blue-looking, greenish, whitish energy.
Yeah.
And that's the end. Oh,
The end
of part 1.
of part 1.
How do you feel?
I feel a lot of things. I feel like from the hint of the next episode picture that not all the sisters are going to agree on killing Tyler, even though he's Aramis, and it's going to fracture them. I also have this theory now, Kevin.
Okay.
I feel like Kira has a purpose to coming back, and I feel like her purpose is she's going to be the answer in who gets the power of the all.
Okay.
Because it would be like such a great end for her. Like, she was a demon, now she's a human, and now as her reward, she gets to like be this great magical being that safeguards magic, and she has no ties to the Charmed Ones.
It would be pretty amazing. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good theory. I like it. Let's see if it happens. I don't know. But this issue, I thought this was a page turner if I ever knew one. I thought it was pretty riveting because every single page it brings you like a new surprise or a threat or something from the past that's coming back. You know, we get the Wisp, we get Knox, you know, so it's very interesting. Like you read this and you're like, holy shit, now what happens? You know? So
Yeah.
I think it's very good.
And the way that he was even able to keep the humor in like the cherub part with
Yeah.
like, nobody would want you to know this. Like, it's so great.
His little like mischievous grin, his little eyes looking at them. He's like, I'm just left in the clouds.
Yeah.
which is such a weird job to begin with.
Yeah. Well, it's better than polishing a shillelagh.
That's true.
You know, polishing the shillelagh was like male masturbation. Maybe fluffing the clouds is like the female counterpart. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. I have a question for you.
All right.
And you know Tyler is possessed, but he's kind of really out of control of it. So when do you think Tyler first got possessed?
That's a good question. So looking back, well, I have kind of a working theory, so I guess this would go along with it. I think there's something with his archive powers that has made him the ideal candidate for possession. Like maybe he has like a shape-shifting ability that he didn't know about or something like that Aramis is taking advantage of. So it'd probably be about the time he found out he was an archive.
Yeah. So I think it happened when they first brought Henry and Coop to the wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I know it exactly. You know that one panel where all his eyes were green, glowing green, and he looked like he was running really fast? I think that was Aramis in that moment.
I didn't think about that. They directly went to the wasteland where Aramis's soul would have been.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Once he possessed Tyler, he was drawn to him, he latched onto him, and once he possessed Tyler, that whole body of his became a husk, and he was no longer existing in that body. It's just an empty vessel, empty shell.
Yeah.
Now it's just Tyler, and he as the link to all that stuff.
That makes sense. Look at you.
Ooh. Cool. Put that in my canonical hat.
Canonical.
Anything stand out as a strong callback or incorrect?
We have Javna and Nina.
Yeah, I mean, lots of stuff. Lots of things that are coming back. I do have a tangent kind of canonical thing. Because
That's not like you.
I was thinking about this back when Kira was talking to Benjamin in the club. Because she says, weren't you young when you died? And then I thought about, like, demons. Like, they can live hundreds and hundreds of years, and they don't age. But we do know that demons are either born from eggs or they start as children. So they do have to age at some point. When do they stop aging?
Yeah, that's always been an interesting question. Because, yeah, a lot of times in these kind of fantasy stories, like,
Yeah.
they're born and they always age rapidly, and then they just stop. For some reason.
Yeah. So, and the Cupids we got figured out because we figure they train as children, and then once they get their ring, that's what stops their aging. So that makes sense. But for demons, I don't know. I wish I knew I had an answer for why that happens and why they just stay young forever after they get sexy and grown-ups. I also want to ask you about the concept of the power of 4. I think you are for something like that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And while I do like all 4 sisters together, I love them coming together and working together, and I love that Shax moment, I do think that there's something incredibly frustrating about the concept, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because it becomes a major retcon and fucks with the actual premise of the show. You know, we have the power of 3. It's just supposed to be the power of 3. That's the prophecy. But now there's 4 sisters. Math doesn't really compute, but I feel like you can't just change the prophecy just because there's 4 now. To me, someone always has to be on the outside. That's just the way it has to be. Fact of life at this point. I don't think the power of 4 could work unless they have a really, really good explanation.
Challenge. Here's my thought on it.
Okay.
I don't think it retcons the show necessarily, because I feel like, in a way,
Okay.
the power of 3 prophecy was fulfilled. Like, they did do what it said it would do. They basically like vanquished evil.
Sure.
But then with Nina and everything that got set into motion after the show, I feel like it could just be that this is the after prophecy. So now this is, everything else is fair game from here.
Gotcha. So you think that part's over and they just have to carry on?
Yeah.
Okay. And like I can see, like, you know, if they say this, like, sharing the all thing happens and they all become super powerful and they all share the all, that makes sense. There'll be 4 of them working together because they all have a piece of the power. But I feel like if they did that, then the power of 3 would not exist anymore. It would either pass on to the next one, and there'll be something new entirely, you know?
Yeah, I guess from that aspect, if you asked me if I think the Power 4 is going to work or be sustainable, no, I don't. So I guess on that part, I would agree with you in that, I don't know. I think something that you've kind of hinted at is like the more hands you have in the pot, like the more risky it is. So having all 4 of them have to balance, especially with Prue already showing signs of evil, like this is not going to go well. And that's why I feel like there's going to be another answer outside of the power of 4, which will be Kira.
Okay. I like that we always see in the season 9, in the comics itself, there's a fluctuation of the power of 3 between the sisters. So it's always kind of moving around, and I like that it's in all these different combinations except the power of 4, you know?
Okay.
Because in season 9, we see like 1/3 of the power of 3 split between Prue and Paige. It's like one power is split between them. And then if we learn that if all 4 try to fight that way, that is a disaster, it's catastrophic, it just wouldn't work. And then we see Prue having the power of 3 completely inside of her, all of that just in one. And that was exhausting for her. So we just kind of see how it kind of moves around.
Yeah.
Which I liked. Next is tips for future white lighters.
Oh, we're really just messengers? Guides? Think of us as guardian angels for good witches.
Tips for future white lighters.
I was out being a force of good in the universe.
What's the moral?
I'm going to say that the moral here, I guess it kind of is similar to other things I've said, but I think it's similar in that Prue is realizing you don't have to go it alone. Like, she has her sister, she can share this burden. She doesn't have to accept it all. So maybe she realizes sooner it wouldn't have gotten to a point where she killed patients or things like that would have happened.
Right. That's true. My tip is listen to your friends and family and don't force them into something that they clearly are not ready for. And I'm talking about Paige here because Paige had real concerns about sharing the Nexus and they immediately dismissed her. I mean, even if it ends up being the right choice, it's still something that should not be taken lightly. You know, it had they should have given her more conversation and more give and take about it. So my heart broke for her a little bit here.
Yeah, it was very sad. So I have a question for you I just thought of.
Okay.
Why do you think Prue didn't just make another body and put herself into it if she could make a body for Ben?
Well, yeah, that's true. Because she wants to. She could have left that patient's body and put her body in probably her own body.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what logistically why they can't do that, but that's a good. I think because she likes the power. There's a part of her that likes the power. I mean, yes, she does definitely prefer her boring life, but I think at the point that she realized she could do that, I don't know. I think she was probably too far gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because, yeah, Pat Shan made sure to show that she was probably under the influence of the grimoire, which is evil. So, yeah, that's my thinking, too. It was just a heated moment that she wasn't in her right mind.
Mm-hmm.
And now, why would she need to? She killed patients, so there's no need to anymore.
Right, and because if she left that body now, it'd just be dead body.
Yeah.
So, next is onomatopoeia.
There wasn't really any new ones in here, so I think I'm just going to go with whoosh. Just because it's fun. Whoosh.
I did the bzzz. Because, I like it.
Why not?
It's buzzy bees and sexy like. Most valuable panel.
Most valuable. It might be too early to say this, but I'm going to use it. But this image of the full page of Nina, chained, it's just so exciting to see her back. I love the way the art looks. You made me feel better about her outfit. This just brings up so many more questions now. The fact that Nina's unlocked this new thought that we can share the power of the all. This is exciting and brings up so many questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My most valuable is the panel actually right before that, right before Nina is revealed, because it's there where we learn so much about both of them. Because it means that even though Prue never met Nina, she feels like kinship due to having a very direct connection to the all. And we kind of see that they both have hurt people because they are hurt themselves. And they have made that choice to make their own well-being priority. So they have very similar narratives. And I think that moment reiterates the headspace of both of the characters and what this could mean going forward.
True. I like that.
So,
I like you.
Oh, thank you. All right, so sexiest drawing.
You know what I'm going to pick. I mean, this whole panel is already on fire anyway because it's so hot. He basically burned the panel. He's so hot. Zanku, revealing himself to Kira, and he's like,
"Oh my,
no, that's not true." It's so hot.
He revealed himself.
Yeah, his big old dick.
Yeah. I think I eventually chose one, but I was torn between the Gamma face because we love our avatar Gamma. He's always so sexy to me. And then the Roswell moment on the floor when Kira and Ben have the little glowy handprint.
Oh yeah.
You see both their abdomens and they're all real tight, and it's like, oh, they're laying there just waiting for me. So I chose that one just because of the way that I tingled when I looked at it. But the Gamma face was really good too.
Yeah.
All right. Issue ranking. Is this magically delicious, pretty witchin', a sorcerer's apprentice, disenchanting, or vanquishable?
This is definitely another magically delicious. It set so much in motion, and every week I'm like, damn, I want to read the next comic. Kevin's smart for not sending it to me yet.
Yeah. I agree. This is magically delicious. I couldn't put this down. I'm very in it. I'm very excited. It's amazing. So now we have PS for poll.
Prue? Piper. You mean it's just you and Prue, huh?
Phoebe? Phoebe, you there?
And a big hello to you too, Penny.
Come on, Patty. The rest is up to them.
Paige. My name is Paige.
Another P, imagine that.
P is for poll. What demon should Tyler turn into next? Like, what demon from the past? Is there a demon that you would want to see return?
Just because I'm partial to him, not that he was even like stand out in the show, but Robert England demon.
Yeah, from Size Matters, Gamil.
Yeah, Gamel, that's his name. Just because how cool would that be to like get to see him in comic book form as well?
That would be cool. And then we can have our Honey I Shrunk the Kids moments happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I've said the Woogie Man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Only because, like, you think about, like, what happens if you trap him in the fancy new Nexus of the All? You have a Nexus versus Nexus. I mean, he's not really a Nexus because Woogie Man was trapped in the Nexus. He wasn't a Nexus, but he was trapped in the Nexus. So if like it's almost like you're having like I don't know, something cool. So Sean, tell us what's next.
So next up, we see this very gorgeous picture of like we see a clock, and around the clock face are the four sisters, but they're in shatters. They're like breaking apart. So this is a big hint, like I said earlier, that like something's going to go wrong between the sisters, it seems like. And it says, issue 15, The Four Sisters Part 2, when Aramis' host is revealed as one of the Charmed One's closest allies, the Hollowells join together in a race against time to save the world. But at what cost? Change is coming.
Yeah.
Oof.
Part 2. And we did it. That's the end.
That's it. The end.
So tell the spell worders where they can find you.
Well, you could find me on Marvelous Galaxy of Disney. This week we're doing kind of a wrap up of San Francisco, but we will not have anything on the Disney TV or shows in solidarity with SAG-AFTRA. You could also find me on My Magical Journeys. If you just need to get away from it all, hit us up so we can plan your vacation at no extra cost to you. Or my book, Witch's Brew, Dream of Waking, on Amazon.
Okay. All right. Groovy. You can also find Sean and I on Solving for X, although we are probably going to be taking a break there as well in the solidarity. I know all of our little shows are like taking a hiatus, but I think it's good. It's to, show that we're not going to just purport all the stuff and not take it seriously, what they're fighting for. So
yeah, it's for the right cause.
Yeah. So we're not going away. We'll be back. Just go ahead and follow, subscribe so that you're notified when new episodes come on. I would do that and follow the Instagrams and stay in the loop.
Yeah.
But this podcast is sticking around. We got comic books. We're okay. So you can follow this podcast at Words of the Witches, all the places, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, or Words of Witches on Twitter. And we will see you next week for The Four Sisters Part 2. Things are going down. We're nearing the end of season 10. We're getting there slowly but surely.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. So see you soon, Spellworders. Until then, take care of yourselves. Your destiny still awaits.